Now, let me show you what a sundog is. What you'll see are two bright spots appearing next to the sun, as if there are three suns. This happens when hexagonal ice crystals found in high-level cirrus or cirrostratus clouds reflect and scatter the sunlight horizontally, which is why the lights are found to the left and right of the sun. A sundog can also appear at lower levels if there are ice crystals piling up due to moist air and freezing temperatures. If there's a sundog, there's the moondog, caused by the same hexagonal ice crystals in cirrus or cirrostratus clouds. It's also called a mock moon or a parasaline, and it's much rarer than a sundog. Why? Apart from the refraction by ice crystals, a moondog also needs the moon to be at least in a quarter moon state, otherwise it won't be bright enough for people to witness it in the sky. The color also won't be as vivid as the sundog to the naked eye since the reflected light isn't bright enough to stimulate the cone cells of the eye. Next up, a strange shadow. A Brockton specter is an optical phenomenon that makes your shadow look far larger than it usually is. For this to occur, you must also be in a cloud bank, which is a wall of clouds that's rising above the horizon or observed from a distance. Along with appearing gigantic among the clouds, your shadow will also appear among several rings of light, as if it has a rainbow-colored halo, which is caused by water droplets refracting sunlight and reflecting it back toward the sun. Another amazing phenomenon you'll be lucky to see in your life is a midnight sun, which is when the sun is visible for up to 24 hours a day. This phenomenon occurs in places like Norway, Greenland, Canada, and in the North Pole during the summer months and in the South Pole in the winter. It happens when the Earth's axis leans toward the sun in the summer season and then away from it in the winter. During these seasons totaling 6 months, the two poles get more exposure to sun's rays. In Indonesia, the Kawah Ijen volcano has lava that appears to be blue. In truth, the lava itself isn't blue. Instead, the sulfur catches a light in the form of electric blue flames when it meets oxygen. This is why you can only see the blue lava at night. In the daytime, the volcano appears like any other volcano. Now for some funky thunder that doesn't involve rain. Instead, it happens during snowfall. Called thundersnow or thundersnow storms, during such an event you'll witness a lot of snow and lightning. They only happen when a rare set of conditions occur, and in fact, only 6.3 thundersnow events occur each year. To increase your chances of witnessing one, pay a visit to the Great Lakes in the US or Canada. This is where lake effect snow develops, which creates lightning in cold weather. Here's another amazing type of lightning. Ball lightning is the very rare appearance of a bright, spherical object ranging in size and duration. It's associated with thunderstorms, but it's a largely unexplained phenomenon. In fact, many scientists were skeptical of ball lightning up until the 1960s. Lab experiments have been able to produce effects that are visually similar to reports of ball lightning, but how these relate to natural phenomenon is unknown. It's so elusive that nobody's sure if ball lightning is dangerous or not. This is perhaps the most beautiful sky you'll ever see. Polar stratospheric clouds are clouds that shine in a variety of colors. This beautiful sight forms when extremely cold weather brought about by the polar winter reaches -78 degrees Celsius. Because of the curvature of the planet's surface and the high altitude at which this forms, the clouds get sunlight below the horizon. They're colorful because the particles within them experience diffraction, which means they spread out similar to how a CD appears in light. Another spectacular rainbow-like cloud phenomenon, with red being the uppermost color, is the circumhorizontal arc. It usually happens in cirrus or cirrostratus clouds when an arc of bright colors appears due to the reflection of light in ice crystals. The light can be either moonlight or sunlight, although it's rarer to see it under the moon. Depending on the size of the cloud, the arc achieves its full form or appears as mere fragments. Now for a river wave surfers dream of. A Pororoca tidal bore occurs during an equinox, which is when the sun and the moon align with the earth. During this event, the pull of the sun and the moon's gravity creates an unusual brown murky tide in the Amazon. Some waves can reach up to 4 meters in height, and there's been an annual surfing competition on it since 1999. However, do watch out. The powerful waves can carry dangerous plants and even entire trees. This one's another amazing sight that occurs in the Amazon. On the Catatumbo River in Venezuela, a spectacular lightning event occurs over its mouth as it reaches Lake Maracaibo. This event is so well known that the flag and coat of arms of Zulia, a state in Venezuela, includes a lightning symbol. Here, up to 280 lightning strikes occur every hour for 10 hours. Nobody's entirely sure why this occurs, but it's thought to be due to specific geographic features that channel warm winds into the lake's basin, which is enclosed by the mountains. These unique wind patterns must develop the thunderclouds that cause the lightning strikes in the region. Believe it or not, you can see real-life ghost ships floating on the water, but only if you're lucky. This is due to the Fata Morgana effect, which is a specific type of mirage that appears just above the horizon and distorts the appearance of objects. Basically, light is reflected from a faraway object, such as a tanker, and bent downwards because of cold, dense air close to the water. Objects on the horizon appear to float because your brain wants to view the distant object as if the light was straight, even if it's bent. Thus, your brain places the object higher than its real location. This is a dust devil. Weaker than a tornado, a dust devil occurs in sunny, fair weather when hot air means cooler air. They're normally far from dangerous, but some dust devils can grow big enough to wreak havoc. Something that's easily more dangerous is a fire devil or fire whirl. This one happened in Beaver Creek, Colorado in August 2016. It's formed when extreme heat combines with severe wind conditions. This unusual waterfall has a small but noticeable flame. The Eternal Flame Falls is found in Shale Creek Preserve, New York. A grotto behind the waterfall's base emits natural gas, which is then lit to produce the flame. It can be seen almost throughout the year, and you can simply light it again to form an odd sighting of water and fire. This is a moonbow, which develops when moonlight, instead of sunlight, is reflected by water droplets and refracts to form a rainbow. Otherwise known as a lunar rainbow or white rainbow, it can be seen opposite from where the moon is in the sky. Due to the light source, a moonbow is not as vivid as the rainbows you usually see, so it's hard to see unless the night sky is very dark. In fact, it tends to appear white unless you conduct a long exposure shot. When the sun is directly overhead in Hawaii in what's called the Earth's subsolar point, objects standing straight have no shadows. This is the Lahaina noon phenomenon, when the sun's rays and planet's surface directly meet at a right angle and lead to the brief removal of shadows. This tropical phenomenon occurs for less than an hour, but that's more than enough for people to capture all the shadowless photos of ordinary objects. During autumn and winter, long-stemmed plants expel thin layers of ice that eventually curl and create what looks to be white flowers. These are called frost flowers, but they're not real flowers. Still, these ice blossoms or frost faces look marvelous when they form distinct patterns. However, if you ever come across this, refrain from touching the petals since they'll easily break. In London, Ontario, Canada, photographer Ray Magerin captured these gorgeous light pillars. A light pillar is an optical illusion that happens when flat ice crystals move closer to the ground because of cold air in the winter. When any source of light is reflected by these ice crystals, a thin pillar is created. The bigger the ice crystal, the more noticeable the pillars become. If the pillars use sunlight, they're called solar or sun pillars and feature red and orange hues. This huge gap appearing in mid to high-level clouds such as cirrocumulus and altocumulus clouds is called a fall streak hole or sky punch. Water droplets go below freezing temperatures without actually getting frozen. Then, due to some disturbance like a plane passing through, the water droplets freeze and eventually fall, causing a hole in the cloud. A fall streak hole can look completely round or take an oval form, which is why some witnesses think it's proof of UFOs. These are the Blood Falls of East Antarctica. Thanks to extensive research, it's thought that the red color is due to iron flowing in the salt water. The water comes from a lake beneath Taylor Glacier, and it accumulates all the iron